I know that Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels really respect the hell out of Josh Jacobs. So something that Josh McDaniels talks about all the time. And I think that that came as a surprise. Like, I don't want to put words in Josh McDaniels' mouth, but I think that came as a surprise as who Josh Jacobs really was as a person and a player as they got to know him last year. And they didn't go into the season thinking that they were going to do Josh Jacobs was going to be the main workhorse running back. They thought it was going to be committee running back by committee like it always has been in New England. You know?
What's good, y'all? Let's talk about it, y'all. Top of the morning, man. Hey. That's what I don't like about Josh McDaniels, y'all. This is why I don't like Josh McDaniels. Y'all think I don't like him because of Derek Carr? No, I don't like Josh McDaniels because of his attitude, his ego. If you remember, y'all, if y'all pay any attention, I pay attention to the whole league, not just the Raiders. If you pay attention, when he was in Denver, people talked about his fucking ego and, how he, it was his way or the highway, kind of like weird kind of stuff going on, right? He got fired because of that. Now, people say that he might change, I was hoping he changed too. I said, you know what? If a man don't change in 10 years, something wrong with that man. So, I gave him a fair shot, fair chance. And he come into this, what he do? He come into the season, y'all. He come into the season this is his second opportunity. Josh McDaniels' second chance, right? Actually, his third chance. Because he had a chance with Denver. Then he had a chance with the Colts, and he didn't end up going. They hired him and everything. He didn't go. So this is actually his third chance. And you didn't evaluate your team? You don't evaluate the team that you're finna go to? You can't tell me he didn't evaluate Josh. I know he didn't evaluate Josh Jacobs. I know he didn't. When they declined the fifth-year option, I knew they didn't know the roster. You know what I mean? Him and Dave Ziegler were just coming in there thinking about this Patriot stuff. That's why they come in with, we're going to do running back by committee. Josh Jacobs has been our bell cow since we drafted him. 1,000 years every season. Except for one season he fell a little short because he was injured, a little nicked up. But he's 24, y'all. He might have just turned 25. He's young as fuck. I don't understand but you have to evaluate your players. You have to evaluate your players. You got to know what you're going to go do. You got to look at your quarterback and say, what does he do well? I'm going to this team. They just went to the playoffs. What does he do well? What does his running back do well? What does his offensive line do well? And then I'm going to sprinkle what I'm bringing, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. He didn't do that last season, but he's trying to do that this season with Jimmy G. They saying that, because Austin Hooper's a blocker. He's not a pass catcher. Them days are over. O.J. Howard, he's never been anyone. He's never fucking lived up to who people thought he was going to be. Right? He's not really a pass catcher. He's a blocker as well. So we got to figure out, like, what's the direction? What is he really trying to do? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. If you're trying to win, you have to evaluate the team that you're on. You have to evaluate the players that are there, especially when you're only going to have so many picks that first year. And for him to not pick up that fifth-year option, it tell me that he did not know who Josh Jacobs was. He didn't evaluate him enough. I like Josh Jacobs since the day I ain't going to say the day we drafted him because I didn't really know who he was because he didn't get a lot of touches at Alabama. But the day he stepped on the field, he was a difference maker for the Raiders. Should have had Rookie of the Year. If you remember, he got robbed and they gave it to Kyler Murray. First they announced that Josh Jacobs won it, and then they announced some weird shit and they gave it to fucking Kyler Murray. But yeah, he's been a difference maker for the Raiders this whole time. But as a coach, you have to evaluate your talent, man. What do they do well? And if you're trying to actually win, you have to tailor things to your players. You don't say, hey, Marcus Mariota, you're on my team. You're my starting quarterback. I need you to fucking throw it 45 times a game. He doesn't do that. He's a running quarterback. Why would you do that? That's what I'm saying. You have to evaluate the players you have and then run your scheme that way. But Josh McDaniels doesn't like to do that. He likes to just do his own thing and think that it works. But these things haven't worked. They haven't worked. And he has to show that it works this season. Because I'm telling y'all, this might be his last chance. I don't know. But yeah, Josh McDaniels, man, evaluate your fucking players. Evaluate your players, man. It's the least you can fucking do.